No, you missed her arm. You like got halfway out. No, it's very wasteful. And I didn't
Seeing 3 different kids fall.
It's very different. Hey, Kathy, let's clean it up. Do you like my hands? Oh my God. I think you might need to go wash them. Do the edge and I don't think so.
I think they're thinking. Looking around at us, right? Like they're all
Here, you want to try being up here? Okay, let's do it.
right?
And then we'll switch.
I think they must be looking at us, saying, feeling it against them, like, eating all this food down there. Alright, you got your stuff?
I can see this sweet because I got one. Oh, I know
Alright, so this is not very wide. Thank you for
Alrighty then. We'll go ahead and get started, everybody. Like I said, if we could all, my friends in the front row on that side, if we could take a seat, just so our friends in the front row are able to see. That way everybody gets a nice view. We're not too crowded all the way up front. We have our chimpanzees that are all going to start making their way on over. Some of our humans are making their way over too. And then they'll be getting their lunch in just a little bit. But we're going to be talking about that for our chit chat. Yeah, we'll give our friends a second to clear out. Alrighty, my friends. While we're waiting for everybody to settle down, find their seats, how are you all doing today? Oh, that was a real quiet for how many people are over here. Let's try it one more time. How are you all doing today? Good. Okay, that's a little bit better then. We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to the Chimp Chat here at the LA Zoo. My name is Ashley. I'm with the Education Department here on staff. Today we're going to be talking all things chimpanzees. We're going to talk a little bit about chimps here, a little bit about chimps in the wild, and then we'll wrap it up with a little bit of a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions that don't get answered by the talk, something you came here really want to know, or something you think of during, go ahead and hold on to those questions. We'll have plenty of time to go ahead and answer those right at the end. Alrighty, while our chimpanzees are moving on over, yeah, you notice some of our new additions. We're moving over. New additions to the group. Yeah, our little babies are moving on over. What they do in the wild, what they're eating? 2 people. Great. How many of you are here because of the babies? You want to know about the babies? Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit more about the babies. We'll talk a little bit about an overview first.
Oh, good. I see the baby. I see the baby. I see the baby.
Alrighty, so we'll keep on going. So to give you a little bit of an overview about our chimpanzees, here at the LA Zoo we have 17 chimpanzees. We have 10 females and 7 males. Quite mixes of ages and personalities, all the way from our youngest babies, who are the ones right in front of you. That's Vindi's baby, who's about 8 months. We got the 9-month-old baby, who's the one right up front a minute ago. And we have Zoe's baby, who's about 6 months or so at this point. So 3 babies under the age of 1, and they go up to our oldest individual is going to be Grandma Regina. Grandma Regina is this one right in front of you. She is 42 years old. Now, if she was in the wild, 42 would be considered pretty old, but thanks to the quality of care chimps receive at places like the LA Zoo, chimps in human care have been known to live into their 50s and even beyond that. So at 42, not particularly old, at about 6 to 9 months, very, very young. Now we can see Vindi's baby very well from right here. Mama's moving around, kind of getting a look around. And we also had Mama Yoshi, who was hanging out with us just a minute ago. But everybody's kind of moving around. They're going to get their lunch in just one moment. That's what they're called, going over. Or everyone's getting ready. Some of our boys are moving around as well. While they do so, yeah, let's talk a little bit. Oh, hi, Mama. Here's another one of our mamas who's coming up with a little baby. Coming on up. She's going to go see where everybody's at. So talk a little bit of an overview about our chimpanzees. Like I said, we have 10 girls, 7 boys. Though it can be a little bit tough to tell who's who if you're not familiar with them. So I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks for how you can tell them apart. It's a little bit noisy right now. Yeah, we'll give you a couple tips and tricks for how you can tell them apart. And if you're wondering kind of what's going on, how you can figure out what's happening, even if you don't have someone up here telling you what's going on. So number one, we're going to use the little baby right there. We're going to use her mama, Vindi, and her baby. And then we will use, the boys are really visible right now. If they walk by, we'll talk to you about one of the boys. But we have some of our girls who are all moving around right now. Some of the boys, one of the boys was one of the, oh, here's one of our boys right here. Looks like this is Oliver, if I'm not mistaken. So this is Oliver, he's one of our males. So we'll use those 3 as references for who I'm talking about. We'll start with Oliver though. So I'll tell you this is Johari, sorry. We'll tell you 2 things about Johari right off the bat. One is that he's 11-year-old. Second thing I'll tell you is that he is a boy. We call dominance displays. Like to say that's anything that makes him seem bigger, stronger, or louder. So he's kind of showing off both lines and making a lot of noise. That's his way of showing off that he's big and tough. Yeah, he's making a lot of noise. A boy. So then that brings us to our first question we get asked a lot. How do you tell the boys from the girls? So how do you tell... Yeah, we got a lot of chit chat today. So how do you tell the boys from the girls? I actually have to do something we get asked quite frequently that we heard a lot of people talking about right before we got started, which a lot of people ask us all the time. We actually have Vindi, who's one of our females. She's with the baby over here, walking by, and one of the things you'll notice about her is that she has a very pink rear end. So that pink swelling you see is called tumescence. It's something you only see on female chimpanzees. So like to say, if you notice their butt, it's probably a girl. If you don't notice their butt, it's probably a guy. So right away you would have noticed that you probably didn't notice Johari's butt as he was walking by, but you probably noticed Vindi's. It's a little bit eye-catching. So that's how you tell the boys from the girls right away. The other thing I told you about him is that he was 11 years old. He's coming out right now. Okay, so now look at Vindi, her little baby, and Johari right here. So we have 3 age groups. We have little baby infant, teenager, adult. Now, besides size, what is one distinguishing factor that we all notice between the 3 of them? So not quite their shoulders, so not quite their build. Has to do with something else. Does anybody else notice a difference between them? Quite. So it's not actually their hair that's a little bit different, because gray hair can come at any age. So it looks like some of our boys are doing some displaying right now. Like I said, you probably didn't notice the rear ends of the ones who are screaming, kicking at the doors right now. So those are our boys. That's very common for them. Tends to be the males who tend to be a little bit more dominant, tend to show off a little bit more, do big displays like the ones we just saw, including doing things like kicking at the door, kind of showing off. You saw Johari go bipedal a second ago on 2 legs, kind of make himself bigger. Yeah, so we got lots of fun stuff from some of our boys that are moving on over. Lots of exciting things. And then our girls, meanwhile, honey, do you have 4 tomatoes in your mouth? That's great. Okay. I'm not even kidding. I think she has at least 4 tomatoes in her mouth. And she got like 3 more in her hand and an orange. Wow, sweetheart, that's impressive. Okay, so those are the display behaviors. So it actually doesn't have to do with the color of their hair. We said gray hair a second ago. It has to do with the color of their skin. So one of the things you'll notice is that the little babies have bright pink coloration to their skin. We got a good view. Mama Vindi over here also has 3 or 4 tomatoes in her mouth. Mama Vindi has a couple tomatoes in her mouth. You'll notice her baby has bright pink coloration to the skin. And we noticed that Mom has dark gray, almost black coloration to her skin. So all chimpanzee babies, when they're first born, are like that bright pink coloration almost, and they darken out as they get older. Johari and Oliver, who are 2 of our teenage boys, are a little bit in between. So you'll notice right away they're not quite as bright pink as little babies. They're not quite as dark gray as the adults. They're a little bit in between. They got that light brown coloration to their skin. The reason why I like starting my talk pointing that out is because that makes it very easy for you to tell 2 things. Who the boys are, and specifically who the teenage boys are, if you're looking for things. And that informs you a lot about their behavior. Males tend to be more dominant in chimpanzee society. They tend to be patriarchal, which just means boys in charge. And we tend to see a lot more dominance displays from the males. So we saw a couple examples right now with Johari kicking at the door. It wasn't particularly loud this time, but kicking at the door is one. Also, the going up on 2 legs to make himself seem bigger. All those things are really good indicator. Like that. So like without even looking at him, I can almost guarantee that that's one of the younger males. So once you kind of figure that out, that tells you a lot about their behavior. So it's like these simple explanations a lot of the time while we're hanging out. We actually see Shaun doing beautiful thing. Oh, the bigger chimpanzees, the chimpanzees who are bigger and stronger, those are the ones who are more dominant, right? No, because Shaun is the biggest and strongest of our chimps, and look at him, he's just sitting there eating his tomatoes. So his personality, a lot of it. So you'll see some of the other boys, looks like that might have been Puiwa, who's coming on over right now. So it's a lot of times it has to do with personality, not just being bigger and stronger, but also whether or not they want to hang out and be the leader, head of the pack or whatever. And you can see Shaun's kind of just chilling. He's like, I don't want to get involved. Let me just leave me alone and my tomatoes and we're good. And that's kind of what you tend to see from him. He's very predictable in that way. Same thing with Regina, our 42-year-old grandma. She's like, I'm not going to go where the screaming is. I'm just going to eat while everybody's distracted. So that kind of tells you a lot about their behavior right away. Yeah, my friends. Yep. So fun fact, when we scream at the chimpanzees and bang on the windows like that, we're actually telling them that we're the big and tough ones, and then they get mad and they're like, actually no, I'm bigger and tougher than all of you. And then they're going to kick the door back. So that's why we ask to keep it nice and calm over there. Not that I think that they can hear me, but yeah, that's why we bring that up all the time. Going on to talk about the babies, before anybody asks, the babies do not have names. We're in the middle of the naming process for them right now, so hopefully we'll be able to announce those soon. Right now we're just referring to them by their mama's name. So we got, so we got baby Yoshi's baby over here, who's our 9-month-old. You can see she's crawling around. She's almost fully weaned at this point. They'll stop nursing around 11 months, start seeing things like they reach a lot of those milestones around 11 months instead of 12 months. Things like walking, introducing solids happen around 5 months instead of 6 months. And even things like their pregnancy is about 8.5 instead of 9 months. Oh yeah, we'll give all our friends a second to walk on through. It's a little bit loud. I don't want to be competing with all the noise that's over here. Yeah. Yeah, so some of our boys are doing those vocalizations that are hanging out. Yeah, so all their milestones are very similar, just slightly off. Another thing we get asked is how do we know who the fathers are? Whereas they're not exclusive. Mom is not exclusive with dad, dad is not exclusive with mom. So we know who the dads are, they don't. But the dads are still involved, they definitely play a role. They just don't necessarily know that they're taking care of their child. It's more like collectively everybody kind of pitches in. So you'll see that with some of the boys, like Glenn was doing a really good job playing with Yoshi's baby before we... Yeah, so this is one of our younger males. Again, you probably didn't notice his rear end. This is Mshindi. And then that's Johari, right? Again, that one we've been talking about for a while. Yeah, so everybody's kind of getting him... Yeah, I don't know what set him up. Regina. So this is Grandma Regina, the one, she has at least 4 tomatoes in her mouth right now, in case you couldn't count. Yeah, look at that. See, when you don't have to worry about babies and you're retired, you get to eat all the food. It's great. Yeah, this is actually her daughter, Yoshi, and her granddaughter is right in front of us. We get asked a lot about parental involvement after the babies grow up. They are involved, especially the moms. They may not be, like the children have grown up and they're more independent, but you definitely see the moms still checking in with their babies. And we see a really good example of that with these guys. The 2 examples I'll bring up really quick before we do our little Q&A is one is that Regina, grandma, was actually there for the entire pregnancy and the birth of her granddaughter. And she was actually checking up as the birth progressed to keep an eye on things, to see how things were going. So she was one of the first ones to get to meet her granddaughter when she came into the world. And then the other example, Johari, one of the little babies, the little baby boy, the youngest one, is actually his little brother. And we weren't sure how he'd be with the little baby. As you can see, he's been doing a lot of big displays right now. He's been doing a lot of big displays, so we weren't sure how he would be with the little one. But he did a really good job. He was looking after his little brother, looking after his mom. So they definitely still have those relationships as they grow up. Yeah, we got a lot of people moving around right now. We'll transition to a little bit of a Q&A. I did want to get to your guys' questions. So if you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand right now. We'll see if we can't get those answered. Yeah, do we have any questions? My friend in the green shirt, and then we'll do my friend in the blue shirt. What's up?
Stand in front of you.
How do they fit so many tomatoes in their mouth? That's a great question. I don't know. It's a mystery to science. It's impressive. Yeah, that's a really good question, though. I don't know. I wish I knew. My friend in the blue shirt, what's up? We'll give him a second to settle down. Yeah, again, look, he's a younger male, teenage boy, who's causing all the fuss. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, the other week I was like, yeah, you know, as anybody knows any boys in high school who like show off because they think it makes them look cool, and immediately all the classmates they pointed to one kid and they were like, you. That's you if you were a chimpanzee. And look, I mean, important question. Yes. How long do they sleep? That's another great question. Yeah, they sleep. So most animals, like humans, are the only ones who like conk out for 8 hours and then we wake up and we do stuff the entire day. They'll sleep in shorter bursts, like 15 to 30 minutes at a time, maybe an hour or two. And then they'll wake up, they'll do stuff, and then they go to sleep again. Collectively, if you've taken all their naps throughout the day, they sleep roughly the same amount of time as us, about 8 hours. It's just in little chunks. So usually after lunch, you'll go over and they'll all be napping. So like they'll nap, and then that'll be like their post-lunch nap, and then they'll wake up, they'll eat dinner, they'll do their own thing, kind of groom each other, and then they'll go sleep for a little bit again, and then they'll wake up in the middle of the night. So it's like, it's not all at once. It's in like little chunks at a time. Alrighty, my friends, if we had I know we had other questions, but I do want to be respectful of your guys' time. If you have questions that I was not able to get to, I'll be hanging out here for a couple minutes after the talk. Go ahead and come on up and ask, but I do want to let you guys go. If you guys would like to see other babies, you can go down this path to see the orangutan baby. Also, up this path is going to be our big cats, like our tiger, jaguar, and snow leopard. And right now we're going to be over there. Thank you all for coming to this talk. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Here.
Mama has a lot of tomatoes. There's a baby. You see the baby? Baby. It's been about 5 or 6 months from the
Giraffe and keep on heading home.
Yeah, left. Want to walk?
Come on!
どうだった？どうだった？
Give me a lead. Good. Oh, there's a big one. And you want more salmon?
And also over.
Okay, thank you.
Mom, let's just go around.
And you ever want more salmon?
Yeah, I got this one for over too.
There's a bigger one.
Okay.
Steph, you want more salmon? You want more of your sandwich? You just kind of eat it.
Ta-da, that's my broken wing. Ta-da, that's on my nose. Mama, what is that?
Turtle, stay here.